Get ready to dive deep into some serious Kung Fu film history, because today we're talking about the legendary stars of Shaw Brothers Studio.
Shaw Brothers, yeah.
You know, those names might not be instantly familiar to everyone,
Right.
but trust me, they're behind some of the most iconic action movies ever made.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They practically defined the golden age of Kung Fu films, especially back in the 60s and 70s. We're talking about a legacy that shaped action cinema like forever.
Exactly. And what we're going to do today is unlock some of the secrets behind these Shaw Brothers stars. The source material I found, I think it was originally an article in Spanish.
Okay.
It focuses on 10 of these stars.
10 of them, wow.
And their stories are wild. I mean, we're talking dazzling martial arts for sure, but also some drama.
Oh, I bet.
Tragedy, unexpected connections. Like, there's even a link to a very famous actress that we're going to uncover.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
So buckle up, because we're going star by star through these incredible figures.
You know, it's easy to forget that these actors weren't just performers. They were cultural icons.
Oh, totally.
I mean, their films were like a reflection of what was happening in Hong Kong at the time.
Yeah.
And they helped make Kung Fu popular all over the world.
Absolutely. So let's kick things off with a name that might ring a bell, even if you're not a hardcore Kung Fu fan. We're talking about T. Lung. Maybe you've seen him in A Better Tomorrow.
A Better Tomorrow, great film.
Huge hit.
Yeah.
But his story goes way back, and it's all about serious martial arts. He started practicing Wing Chun as a kid,
Wow.
and you can just see that dedication when he's on screen.
Yeah, he really had that screen presence, didn't he?
Oh, total charisma.
It's more than just martial arts, though. He
Yeah.
had this incredible charisma.
Yeah.
He was often the strong, silent type. You know, a man of few words, but always doing the right thing, and audiences just loved him for it.
And hold on to your hats, because this guy was part of a group they called the Four Little Dragons of Hong Kong, alongside Bruce Lee,
Oh, wow.
Lang Xiaolong, and Jackie Chan.
That's a legendary lineup.
Talk about talent. That just shows you what was happening in Hong Kong cinema back then.
Yeah, each of those dragons brought something unique to the screen, but
Yeah.
T. Lung's work with Shaw Brothers in his early days, it really made him a star in the genre. His fight scenes, they were just so well choreographed.
Oh, they were amazing.
You could see the power, but also the precision.
All right, next up we've got David Chiang. And his story is pretty fascinating because this guy started acting when he was 4 years old.
4 years old. Wow, that's incredible.
Can you imagine?
Think about how long his career was.
I know, right?
From a child star to a leading man, and he even earned the title of Asian Film Emperor.
Wait, Asian Film Emperor? What's that all about?
It's a huge award given out at the Asian Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
Recognizes amazing acting, basically like winning an Oscar in Asia.
Wow.
And the interesting thing about David Chiang is that he often played against type.
Against type, what do you mean?
So even though he wasn't a big guy, he often played those cold, arrogant characters, even villains.
Oh, interesting.
He had this way of showing their hidden depths, you know, even when he was the bad guy.
So, he won a huge award playing characters that weren't exactly the typical hero.
Yeah, pretty impressive, right? Shows how good he was, how he could keep the audience interested, even when he was playing a character you might not like.
That is super impressive.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked about legends, we've talked about emperors, but now let's talk about a story that's both inspiring and really sad. The story of Fu Sheng.
Fu Sheng. He was a true rising star, discovered by the legendary director Chang Che.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he had this youthful energy about him, incredible agility, and a charm that audiences loved.
And he starred in some big films like Fang Shiyu and Hong Shiguan.
Right.
Really popular movies.
Those put him on the map. Definitely seemed like he was on his way to superstardom, but then tragedy.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad. Fu Sheng died young in a car accident.
Oh, such a loss for the industry and for everyone who loved his work.
It really makes you wonder what he could have achieved if he'd had more time.
Yeah.
He did leave behind some incredible performances, though.
He did, especially in the Legend of the Condor Heroes trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Those films really cemented his place in the hearts of fans. Okay, let's move on to someone who brought a different kind of presence to the screen. Chen Kuan-tai. This guy wasn't just an actor.
No, he wasn't.
He was a real-life martial arts champion.
That's right.
And you could just see that authenticity in every move he made.
Think about it. Back then, special effects weren't what they are now.
Right.
So when you had someone with real fighting experience, it brought a whole other level of realism to the fight scenes.
Totally.
Chen Kuan-tai wasn't just acting, he was showing off years of training.
He even won championships in Southeast Asia, right?
Exactly, a force to be reckoned with, both on screen and off. His portrayal of Ma Yongzhen, that legendary martial artist, it's still considered a classic.
Definitely a must-watch. Okay, get this. Our next star is Liu Jiahui, the lead in the 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, oh man.
This film is so iconic.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
It basically spawned a whole bunch of Shaolin-themed movies.
It really did. And Liu Jiahui's performance as Sante, that student who goes through such intense training, it's inspiring and entertaining at the same time.
I remember watching it for the first time. I was blown away by how athletic it was, how artistic the fight choreography was. It's one of those films that goes beyond just action. You know, it has heart, humor, even some philosophy in there.
It really does. Sadly, our source material mentions that Liu Jiahui is dealing with some health issues these days, which makes his past achievements even more special.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to appreciate the legacy of these stars while we can.
Definitely makes you want to revisit his films and celebrate the impact he had on the genre. He was so dedicated, so skilled, he deserves to be remembered.
All right, hold on to your seats, because our next Shaw Brothers star is a figure who's just larger than life, Wang Yu. This guy was an athlete, had connections to organized crime, and then became a pioneering martial arts star.
Wow, what a story.
Oh, it's wild. And get this, he actually broke box office records with one-armed swordsman before Bruce Lee was even famous.
Before Bruce Lee? That's amazing.
I know, right?
Wang Yu was like a symbol of rebellion.
Uh-huh.
This charismatic figure challenging authority, embodying a changing Hong Kong. His performances were raw, intense, and often pushed the limits of what was acceptable on screen at the time.
So he was kind of like the bad boy of Kung Fu cinema.
You could say that. He was a complex figure for sure. Some saw him as a hero, others as a troublemaker. But there's no denying his impact. He helped change the image of the martial arts hero, brought something grittier, more realistic to the screen.
It's amazing to think he achieved so much before Bruce Lee came along. He really paved the way.
Yeah, a true pioneer. Wasn't afraid to break the mold, challenged conventions, and pushed the boundaries of action films. He paved the way for more complex and interesting films later on.
Okay, from a rebellious spirit to a story of passion and perseverance, let's talk about Lo Lai. He traveled from Indonesia to Hong Kong,
Wow,
learned Kung Fu, and chased his dream of being in movies,
that's amazing.
eventually landing major roles in King Boxer and Fist of Fury. Talk about dedication.
You know, his story really shows how international Hong Kong cinema was at that time. He wasn't from Hong Kong originally, but he was drawn to it, drawn to that exciting film industry.
Yeah, and he worked his way up, didn't he?
He did. It wasn't easy for him.
Right.
He had challenges, setbacks,
Uh-huh.
but his persistence, his passion, they paid off in the end. He had a career that lasted for decades. Just goes to show that hard work and determination can make dreams a reality.
And those roles in King Boxer and Fist of Fury, they weren't just action-packed.
No, they weren't.
They really showed his acting skill. He could play strong and tough, but also vulnerable.
Exactly. He wasn't just a martial artist, he was a proper actor. He brought depth and complexity to his roles. Understood that a great performance needs more than just fighting, you have to connect with the audience emotionally.
All right, let's talk about an actor who was the master of playing both sides. Yue Hua.
Yeah.
This guy could play heroes and villains, and he was equally good at both.
That's so tough to do, to be
Yeah.
convincing as the good guy and the bad guy.
Right.
It takes real talent, a deep understanding of people. Yue Hua, he could just disappear into his roles no matter how different they were.
It's like he was a chameleon, changing for each part. He could be charming one minute, then totally scary the next.
He really understood how to develop a character. He wasn't just playing types, he was creating real people with their own reasons and complexities.
Okay, get ready for a fun family connection. Kwan Shan, the father of the famous actress Rosamund Kwan.
Oh, wow.
He was a very successful actor in his own right.
He was. He even won a major award.
That's right, he won Best Actor at the Locarno International Film Festival for his role in Love Without End.
That's a huge honor.
It's incredible, isn't it? Talent running in the family.
Yeah, it's fascinating how that happens.
Okay, last but not least, we have Zhang Yi. And this guy was part of a group called the Five Tigers of Shaw Brothers. That's pretty intimidating, huh?
The Five Tigers were legendary, not a gang, but a force to be reckoned with in Kung Fu cinema. They were incredibly skilled martial artists, who became symbols of Shaw Brothers' success.
Oh, I see.
They trained together, starred in films together, and pushed each other to be better and better.
So it was like a brotherhood of martial arts masters.
Yeah, something like that. They represented the top level of martial arts talent at Shaw Brothers. Their films, they had unbelievable fight choreography, crazy stunts, and a level of skill that was just awe-inspiring.
You know, it's amazing how many of these stars were mentored by director Chen Kuan-tai.
Chen Kuan-tai, yeah.
His influence on the genre and on these actors, it's huge. It goes way beyond just being a mentor. It's like he helped create the visual style of kung fu films.
He was a visionary,
Yeah.
a master at using film techniques to make the fight scenes more dramatic and exciting. He understood that it wasn't just about showing off cool moves, it was about telling a story through those movements, through how the scene was shot and how it was edited.
Can you give me an example?
Well, think about the way he used slow motion.
Okay.
It wasn't just a trick.
Right.
It was a way to show the beauty and power of the martial arts, to focus the audience's attention on specific details of the choreography, and to build suspense.
Oh, I see what you mean, like those slow motion shots in The Matrix where you can see every detail of the fight.
Exactly. Chiang Kai was doing that in kung fu films way before The Matrix. He also used dramatic zooms, close-ups on the actors' faces, and creative camera angles to make the fights more intense.
It's amazing to think that these choices, which we might not even notice anymore, were groundbreaking back then.
Absolutely. Chiang Kai was a true innovator.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already. We've seen child stars, international journeys, real-life champions, larger-than-life personalities. These 10 stars represent the amazing talent and diversity that thrive at Shaw Brothers Studio. But this is just the beginning. We'll be back in a moment to dig even deeper into their stories and explore how they changed cinema forever. Stay tuned.
I can't wait.
And we're back, diving deeper into the world of Shaw Brothers stars. It's amazing to think about all these different actors with their unique styles and backgrounds.
Yeah, all finding a home at Shaw Brothers.
Right. It really says something about the studio, how they created this space where individuality could flourish.
It really does. It wasn't about fitting a mold, it was about letting these talents shine in their own way.
And speaking of shining, we got to talk more about Chen Kuan-tai.
Of course, the man, the myth, the legend.
His influence is everywhere. It's like he was the architect of the visual language we see in kung fu films today.
Absolutely. Chiang Kai was a master at using the camera to heighten the drama and the excitement of the fight scenes. He got that it wasn't just about showing off physical skills, it was about telling a story through movement, through the way the shots were composed, the editing. It's like a visual language.
Do you have any examples of how he did that?
Well, take slow motion, for instance.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't just a gimmick for him, it was deliberate.
Right.
It was a way to emphasize the grace and power of the martial arts, let the audience really see the details of the choreography, and build that sense of awe and anticipation.
Oh, I get it. Like those slow motion scenes in The Matrix where you can see every single move.
Exactly. Chiang Kai was a pioneer of that technique. He also wasn't afraid to use dramatic zooms, close-ups on those intense facial expressions and creative camera angles to really amplify the emotional impact of those fight scenes.
So basically, he was shaping the way we experience action movies even today.
He was a true innovator. He wasn't just filming fights. He was creating ballets of violence, stories told through martial arts. And his impact on actors like Lung, David Chiang, and Sheng is undeniable. He guided them, helped them shape their on-screen personas, and pushed them to deliver those incredible performances that were both physically demanding and emotionally resonant.
And let's not forget, these films weren't just popular in Hong Kong.
Oh no, they were a global phenomenon.
Exactly. They were introducing kung fu cinema to the whole world.
It's amazing how those films bridged cultures. I mean, you had action, drama, philosophy, even some humor thrown in there. Something for everyone.
It wasn't just about the fighting, it was about those stories.
Right.
The characters, the themes of honor and loyalty that you saw in so many of those films.
It was universal, something that everyone could connect with no matter where they were from.
Totally. And on top of all that, you had the sheer physicality of those performances.
Those actors were athletes in their own right.
I mean, some of those fight scenes, it's hard to believe they didn't use stunt doubles for everything.
I know, the jumps, the kicks, the acrobatic moves, it's incredible.
Mind-blowing.
The level of athleticism and dedication that went into performing those intricate fight sequences is just astonishing. It took years of training, incredible flexibility, and a willingness to push themselves to their absolute limits.
You know, thinking about all these stories, it's a real mix of triumph and tragedy, isn't it? You have these incredible success stories,
Yeah.
actors coming from nothing and becoming international stars. But then there's stories like Fu Sheng's, where a promising career is cut short.
Yeah.
It reminds you that even with all the glamour, life can be unpredictable.
It definitely brings those larger-than-life figures back down to earth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They face challenges, setbacks, even personal tragedies, just like everyone else.
Right.
But their passion for what they did shines through, even decades later.
So what does all this mean for us, the viewers, the people who are maybe just discovering these films for the first time or revisiting them with fresh eyes?
I think it's a chance to appreciate the artistry of those films, the cultural impact they had, to recognize those talented people who shaped the genre, and maybe to think about how stories can be so powerful, how they can touch people across generations.
It also makes me think about how important mentorship is.
Mentorship?
Yeah, and collaboration.
Yeah.
Especially in something like filmmaking.
Right.
The success of these stars, it wasn't just about individual talent.
No.
It was about the support they had at Shaw Brothers.
That's true.
The guidance they got from people like Chiang, the friendships they had with their fellow actors.
It was a whole ecosystem of creativity where everyone was pushing each other to be better.
And Chen, he was more than just a director.
He was a visionary.
Yeah, he had a knack for spotting talent and helping those actors grow.
He wasn't just a director, he was a teacher, a guide, almost a father figure to a lot of those young actors.
Makes you wonder how different action movies would be today without those Shaw Brothers legends.
It does, doesn't it? Would we even have The Matrix, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, even John Wick without them? That's a fascinating thought.
Yeah, it really is.
Their influence is still there, in the way fight scenes are choreographed, and in those themes of honor, loyalty, and perseverance that you see so often.
It's like they elevated the whole genre.
Yeah.
Showed that action movies could be more than just violence.
They could be art.
You know, as we continue this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm struck by how different these actors were.
They really were a diverse group.
You had someone like T. Lung, the strong silent type,
Right.
and then David Chiang, who was so good at playing those complex, sometimes unlikable characters.
It's amazing how they both found success within the same studio.
It shows you how Shaw Brothers embraced individuality.
They did. They weren't looking for clones, they wanted unique talents.
And that's a lesson that's still relevant today.
Absolutely. True creativity thrives on diversity and individuality.
And then there's Fu Sheng, whose career was tragically cut short, but his impact is still felt today.
His films are still celebrated, and they inspire new generations of actors and filmmakers.
And let's not forget, Chen Kuan-tai, a real-life martial arts champion who brought something truly authentic to the screen.
You could feel the power behind every move he made.
Yeah, it was like he was living his art, not just performing it.
Exactly.
It's incredible to think about all the different experiences and backgrounds these 10 stars had.
It's a testament to the power of film to bring people together.
From former gangsters to child actors, from trained athletes to opera performers, they each brought something special to Shaw Brothers cinema.
It was a melting pot of creativity where talent and passion came together to create something truly remarkable. And at the heart of it all was a love for storytelling, a dedication to their craft, and a belief in the power of film to entertain, to inspire, and maybe even to change the world.
We'll be right back to wrap up this deep dive and explore the lasting impact of these Shaw Brothers legends. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Shaw Brothers stars, I'm still amazed by all these stories.
Me too. It's been an incredible journey through Kung Fu film history, and we've got a few more stops to make before we reach the end of the line.
You're right. And I definitely want to circle back to Liu Jiahui.
Yeah.
His performance in the 36th Chamber of Shaolin is just unforgettable.
Oh, absolutely. A true classic.
And Liu Jiahui as a sensei, that dedicated student who transforms himself through intense training.
It's a classic underdog story, a real journey of self-discovery, and it shows the power of perseverance.
It's more than just a martial arts movie, though, right? There's something deeper there.
Oh, definitely. It explores the philosophy behind Kung Fu, the idea that real strength comes from within.
Right.
It's about mastering your mind as well as your body and using your skills for good. That's a message that speaks to everyone.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about Wang Yu again. We talked about his rebellious past.
Right, his connections to organized crime.
Yeah, and how he became a star even before Bruce Lee.
An amazing story.
It really is.
Yeah.
Wang Yu was a true trailblazer. He brought this raw energy and a sense of danger to his roles.
You could tell he wasn't afraid to push the boundaries, both on and off screen.
Do you think his past experiences, the darker side of his life, influenced his acting?
Oh, I'm sure it did. He had this intensity, this aura of someone who had seen and done things most people haven't.
And his film One-Armed Swordsman is considered a classic, isn't it?
Oh yeah, a visually stunning film with innovative fight choreography and a story of revenge and redemption. It broke box office records and made Wang Yu a huge star.
Okay, from a rebellious spirit to a tale of passion and perseverance,
Lowlight.
leaving Indonesia for Hong Kong to pursue his acting dreams.
That's incredible.
It really is. Talk about dedication.
Lieh's story shows that you sometimes have to take risks, step out of your comfort zone
Yeah.
to achieve your goals. He didn't even speak Cantonese when he arrived in Hong Kong.
Really?
But he was determined, learned the language, trained hard, and earned the respect of his peers and the love of the audience.
King Boxer and Fist of Fury were big roles for him, weren't they?
They were pivotal.
He showed off his versatility as an actor.
Exactly. He could be tough and intimidating, but also vulnerable and sympathetic. That range made him so compelling to watch.
Now, we can't forget Yue Hua, the master of playing both sides.
The true chameleon.
He could switch between hero and villain so seamlessly.
It's amazing, isn't it? Shows his true talent.
I wonder how he approached those different roles.
Yeah, I bet it took a lot of self-reflection, a willingness to explore all those different emotions.
We mentioned Kwan Shan earlier, Rosamund Kwan's father.
You were right, a talented actor in his own right.
And he wasn't just riding his daughter's coattails.
No, he won a major award, remember?
That's right, at the Locarno International Film Festival.
Yeah, for Love Without End. It just shows that talent can run in families.
Absolutely. And finally, there's Zhang Yi, part of the 5 Tigers of Shaw Brothers.
The pinnacle of martial arts skill at the studio.
What a group.
The 5 Tigers were more than just individual actors. They symbolized the collaborative spirit of Shaw Brothers. They trained together, pushed each other to excel, and created some of the most spectacular kung fu films ever made.
Their camaraderie must have been something special.
It was like a brotherhood, a bond forged through their passion for martial arts and their dedication to their craft.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm just in awe of the legacy of these Shaw Brothers stars.
It's a testament to their talent, hard work, and dedication, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They shaped a genre, entertained millions, and left their mark on film history.
Their films continue to inspire and entertain us today, reminding us of the power of storytelling, the artistry of martial arts, and the enduring appeal of a well-made action film.
If you haven't seen a Shaw Brothers film, I urge you to check one out.
You won't regret it.
You'll be transported to a world of incredible action, compelling characters, and stories that will stay with you.
And if you're already a fan, I hope this deep dive has deepened your appreciation for those amazing performers.
So next time you watch a kung fu film, think about the influence of those Shaw Brothers legends. Their impact is undeniable, and their stories continue to resonate with audiences worldwide.
They truly were pioneers.
That's it for our deep dive into the world of Shaw Brothers stars. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another exciting exploration of film history. Until then, keep watching those classic kung fu movies.